one issue is that Lincoln is a large part of Lancaster County. How do you work with the county commission and things like that to make sure that the county and Lincoln are both doing well at the same time?
Well, we meet once a month with them, but that's just in meetings where we have schedule. Most of us are on committees with commissioners, and we share responsibilities. And I think it's a golden opportunity for us to sit down and talk about common things that we have problems with. Many of their problems are our problems, and vice versa. The fact that 90% of the county is inside the city, I think is fairly unique. And so we have shared goals in a lot of areas. We're fortunate on the city side in that we don't have a jail issue and we don't have a Lancaster Manor issue, but in most every other area we have shared duties.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the Lancaster Manor issue, and a lot of people do wind up feeling that it might be a Lincoln issue due to the location. Is there anything that you're proposing with that the City Council would like to see with that?
I'm very careful not to criticize any other entity that's here, and it's for a couple reasons. Number one, it's a difficult job, and we tend to only look at things from our perspective. You know, there are days when I look at the Lincoln Public Schools budget and I say, I would love to have 63 cents out of every tax dollar instead of 14 cents. Then I sit back and think, but look at all that they're doing and those kinds of things. So I tend to have discussions like that behind closed doors, and I don't think it benefits us to criticize. We all have to work together. And the only thing that happens when you criticize is that somebody gets hard feelings, I believe.
Okay. One thing that you mentioned is with LPS, you do have a lot of schools in your district. Do you think that those are working well? Do you see overcrowding in those areas? Any problems that you'd like for the city to help address?
Well, I'm exceptionally pleased that Dr. Joel and the board took another look at the Dawes issue. If you look at Northeast Lincoln or District 1 even, you will see that there are a lot of older neighborhoods. Those older neighborhoods are dependent on things like schools and grocery stores and churches to be the fabric that holds that community together. And Kathy Danik and I were certainly very, very concerned that the decision to close Dawes was a decision that would ultimately hurt that area. And it's a school that had just celebrated its 50th anniversary, so there are some sentimental things there also. But I think that for the most part, Dr. Joel has come in and recommitted that we would sit down with the county and the city and LPS at least quarterly and have super commons meetings so that we can talk about all of those things. And maybe what we do is head off some of the problems that we've had recently. For instance, building a school and then having a concern about how do we get kids across Highway 34, some of those kind of things. Those are questions that should be answered before you build the new school. And I just think we maybe got a little bit internal and we really didn't talk, and then after we have it, then we're spending more money to fix the problem than we would have had we addressed the problem up front.
Okay. What other issues are you facing in citywide and in your district?
Well, I think any time that you're talking about the economy, you have to talk about what can Lincoln do to try to bring additional jobs here. And not just additional jobs, but additional good-paying jobs. And I think we're making a concerted attempt to do that. I think things like the Innovation Campus and those type of projects are a step in that direction. And I think we have to make sure that we're trying to balance the dollars and cents of developing new areas at the same time we're not forgetting how valuable our older neighborhoods are.
Okay. And then in your district, How are you going to encourage the voters to make sure that they do attend both the primary, which is in April, but then again also the general, that's not forgotten because it's only 4 weeks later?
Well, we're out there every day walking precincts, and we're telling people how important it is that they have a stake in the future of Lincoln. And we also talk about the things that when you start talking about cuts and those kind of things, it's things that older neighborhoods really value, such as libraries and pools and parks and those kind of things. And so it behooves them to take an active part in this and to know what candidates intend to do or what they say they're going to do if they get elected.
Okay. And do you see good turnout in your area? Is that a problem for you, or do you think?
Historically, we've had pretty decent turnout, but I think it's definitely a blue-collar area, and I think most, at least in the older areas, the Havelocks, the Bethanys, university places, they were growing up kids grew up understanding what their civic duty was, and that they needed to be part of the process. So I think the turnout will be very good.
Okay.